Am I the asshole for walking out of the airport when I saw my husband's mom standing there with her luggage? I 30 don't have the best relationship with my husband's mom. Since day one she tried to make remarks and compare me to her. She then tried to get on my good side and started overly praising everything I do and sometimes even copying me, like that one time when she literally dyed her hair purple just like mine, and when everyone pointed out how ridiculous she looked, she actually blamed me and accused me of trying to make a joke out of her. So, anyways, my husband and I took 2 weeks off work to go visit some places out of the country, tourism in other words. Thing is, I was the one who saved up for and arranged for the trip. My husband was responsible for booking the tickets. My husband's mom wanted to come along and threw temper tantrums when I said no. She called, texted, sent people to talk to me into letting her come, even threatened to call the police and make some complaint up to get us to stay if she can't come. My husband said we should just take her, but I told him he was wrong to tell her about the trip in the first place. He gave me an ultimatum. Said he wouldn't go if she can't come, and I told him I'd gladly call his bluff, which made him take his words back and say, fine. I will tell her to stop it because we won't take her. Things got quieter, suspiciously quieter. The day of the trip came and we got to the airport at 2 p.m. My husband was walking ahead of me and was looking left and right like he was looking for someone. I asked him, but he didn't respond. He led me to the waiting area and first thing I saw was his mom standing there with her luggage. I froze in my spot. I felt a cold wave washing over me and I was fuming inside. She and my husband were hugging. That's when I quietly turned around and started walking towards the exit. My husband followed me while shouting at me to stop. He tried to stop me, but I told him off the harshest way possible. He tried to say I was overreacting and that his mom was there, anyway, and I should let it go and not mess the trip up for us. I told him he and his mom could still go and that I was going home. I went home and sobbed into my dog's fur for several minutes. Turned out he booked her a ticket without me knowing. An hour later he came home yelling and raging about how pathetic and spiteful I was to walk out and go home and ruin the trip last minute. I told him he caused this to happen. He said that I was being so hard on his mom, it's ridiculous. I refused to fight anymore, but he kept on berating me, then called my family to tell them that the trip was cancelled and that it was because of me. My family said that I shouldn't have ruined it for myself and should have sucked it up and done my best to enjoy. Did I really overreact? I don't want to call the divorce card, but divorce. You told your boundaries, you said no. She crossed it. Your husband told you he would tell her no, he lied. He tried to pin you in a corner by not saying anything and bringing her anyways and got upset you refused to be a part of his little trap? And then to berate you? He's not a good man. He needs to go. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. He gave you an ultimatum no loving partner would ever put you in that position. He's a mummy's boy and she's manipulative and toxic. You have every right to enjoy a holiday with your husband without them behaving like children. You did the right thing. The next right thing to do is leave. He doesn't respect you. Not the asshole. Hubby lied to you and put his mother before you? I'd be looking to get out of that marriage. That would be a deal breaker for me. Not the asshole, you actually helped him and his mom to have the romantic getaway they really wanted. I'd divorce this man. I'd get tired of tripping over his umbilical cord. Not the asshole. Definitely not the asshole. You know that if you had sucked it up and gone with them, the entire vacation would be all about catering to his mom. Whatever she wanted to do. Whatever places she wanted to go, places she wanted to eat. You'd be the third wheel on your own vacation. Am I the asshole for overreacting about how everything went down on Mother's Day? My friends and my husband both state that I'm overreacting here, and I have never felt more invalided in my life. So I need unbiased feedback. I have 2 sons from my previous relationship, 12 and 9. I've been with my husband for 8 years. My children's father passed away 6 years ago in a car wreck, and my husband has since made multiple points to bring up adopting my children. I only bring this up because one of my friends, whom I have now cut off, stated that they aren't technically his kids, and that is why she states I'm overreacting. He calls my kids his babies. Anyways, I've been pretty mentally depleted and pouring from an empty cup for some months now. I'm just overwhelmed and feel like everyone, including my husband, expect me to fix all their problems, and it's became a lot. Like my husband is constantly asking me to come up with solutions for him, and then my kids on top of that. I just needed a break. So on Mother's Day my husband watched the kids while I took a nap. You would have thought I was in a freaking coma or something because I laid down at 11 a.m. and didn't get up until 7 p.m. I clearly needed it. When I woke up I will admit that I was immediately peeved. I didn't smell dinner or anything like that, so I asked my husband if he had made the boys anything to eat, and he said he just gave them the cup of soup noodles versus make dinner. So not only did my kids not eat the food that I had specifically unthawed because my husband didn't feel like cooking, he hardly ever does, but I also didn't have any food for when I woke up. I just thought it was incredibly selfish and inconsiderate. Mainly due to the fact that he didn't want to cook because he was playing video games. I didn't get any cards or gifts or anything. All I did was take a nap. So I was trying to push this out of my head and not make a big deal about it. Like desperately, because it just felt like once again a day that was supposed to be dedicated to appreciating me didn't turn out this way, but I was trying not to see it that way. Well, then shit hit the fan because I say I'm going to get myself food because I was starving and my husband immediately asks me to go get him something too from a different place clear across town. I make a snarky comment about, "It's Mother's Day, you should be going for me," so he starts huffing and puffing about it because he is playing video games but gets up to go. He came back with something I didn't want because he thought I would like it, and later admits that we didn't actually have money for the thing I wanted, steak and shrimp, which is kinda pricey. I asked him how we didn't have the money for it because we had over $400 in the bank the day before, and he tells me that he sent his mother $250 to pay her car note for Mother's Day and a big bouquet of flowers that cost him $40. Again, all I got was a fucking nap. So I was pissed. But like I said, everyone is saying I'm being overdramatic about this and being an asshole for blowing this out of proportion. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. Your husband spent nearly 75% of the limited funds you had in what I assume was a joint account without discussing it with you. That alone is cause for major concern within your marriage. I'm thinking this is about more than just Mother's Day. I'm going to recommend some couples counseling. Not the asshole. Not the asshole, but forget this. One day you have a problem that your husband isn't a full, participating member of the household, and he took a significant amount of money from a joint account without telling you. New ground rules. Now, he learns to cook, he gets off his ass from the video games and manages more of the household work, and you have an agreement about what comes out of that account. You're burned out because he treats you like dirt and then is peeved that you don't accept that quietly. Not the asshole. I would also be pissed my husband can afford to gift his mum almost $300 but couldn't even get dinner I'd wanted. Give him the same on Father's Day and see how he likes it. Not the asshole. Your friend is a shit friend. Your husband is a shit husband. Not the asshole. He could plan enough to send flowers to his mom and $250 but he couldn't do jack shit for you? Man, he sucks. Am I the asshole for demanding to use my brother's stuff? I, F15, have a brother, M16. My parents always buy him stuff, computer, tablet, violin, etc. But when I ask them for the same stuff they always answer with, "We'll buy you the same thing next year when you turn the same age," or, "We can't afford two right now so we'll buy you one later," but they never do. Last night I had to do an school project but because I didn't have a computer I couldn't. I usually borrow someone's, a family member like a cousin, laptop for these stuff but this time everyone needed theirs so no one would give me. I got so angry and frustrated that I started yelling at them telling them if they don't let me share his stuff I am gonna break his computer. I am not gonna do it though, probably. My parents think I am being irrational and an asshole because these are his stuff. If he doesn't want to share with you then he doesn't have to. I think they are the Oz because if they can't buy two of the same thing then they should buy one for both of us not just for him. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. Your parents should teach you brother to share and buy you a laptop for school, since it is an important thing. Threaten to break it though achieves the opposite. Edit. Thanks for the updates. I am shocked how many they are. Not the asshole. If they truly do not buy you the equivalent items when you turn the relevant age, what do they expect you to do? You need to use a computer to get your schoolwork done. If they can only afford one, you two sharing only makes sense. I'd try to sit down and have a serious convo with your parents about this, when you're not already fighting with them or your brother. Either they need to buy you your own laptop, etc., or you need to split time with your brother. Not the asshole, but yelling maybe isn't the best way to go about this. I'm sorry, it seems that you're not being treated the same as your sibling. However, I'd suggest sitting down your parents and asking to have a civil discussion where you can raise how you're feeling. If you need a computer for school, I'm sure you can try reasoning with them. Not the asshole. Don't listen to the YTA responses. You just want a fair treatment. Since you need a PC for your schoolwork, I would agree with the person who suggests to mail your teacher and school that you aren't able to do it because your parents don't give you access to a PC. Your parents suck hard. Not the asshole, your parents are Oz. Your brother and you aren't. Your brother isn't obligated to share his stuff, it isn't his fault his parents favor him. Your parents should invest in a family desktop instead of buying a laptop if they can't afford to. Stop turning your homework in. Explain to your teacher why you can't do it. Get your school to speak to your parents. Hopefully it will shame them into doing what they are supposed to do. Am I the asshole for blindsiding my son's mom with custody papers after a social media post? My ex and I have a very fragile relationship. I focus more on the kids than her. She remarried and I don't care for her new husband, but I accept it because they had a baby. Currently my ex and I share 50-50. My eldest son, who is 8, needed to have a circumcision. It was something that I wanted to keep under wraps because it's private. Lo and behold, my ex's husband posts pictures of my son in the hospital and announces that he had a circumcision, and my ex does the same on FB. I was outraged and asked them to take it down. Their profiles are not private. They're friends with our kids' teachers and my son's friends' parents. If this was a broken arm, then I wouldn't have cared. Both refused, so I spoke with a lawyer who said that I should seek to reduce her custody. She was served on her birthday and was pretty upset. I assume she spoke with a lawyer because they not only took down the posts but made it private. I'm sure we'll end up going to mediation. Not the asshole. Why on earth would they think discussing an 8-year-old's genitals on a public forum is appropriate under any circumstances? NTA. Sorry, but putting that sort of thing on social media at your son's age is, I am sorry to say, a gateway to bullying. You're protecting your son. Not the asshole. I don't think she understands how awful it is to spread private info on the internet. She'd be embarrassed if her husband went on and posted about her needing vaginal reconstruction or surgery on her clit. Why is it different for her son? That poor boy. I can imagine the bully. IMG. Not the asshole, and it's not your fault the papers were served on her birthday. You're not a process server. Not the asshole. You asked, they refused, and now they have to pay the consequences. The papers being served on a specific day have, assumingly, nothing to do with you. Your actions are exactly appropriate when dealing with individuals like your ex and her husband. If they cannot behave appropriately, then they need to have it forced upon them. You tried to protect your son by approaching them directly, and you were ignored, so they left you with little choice. That she was served on her birthday is immaterial. That she is upset is immaterial. Had she put her son's privacy above her need for attention, none of this would have been necessary. Not the asshole.